So, question is, why call the website Xtreme Discipling? I think the further question is, was it really extreme to be a disciple of Jesus in his own day? Well, certainly in his day, being a disciple of a teacher was nothing new. It was fairly common to find a teacher with a group of disciples around him. The way it worked was that in any household, rich household, the eldest son was in charge of the household and would be in charge, well, under the father, of course, but at least he was the one that would be inheriting the running of the household. So he was heavily involved with looking after everything. And in those days, that was likely to mean either the family trade or more likely the family plot wherever they grew what they grew. But any sons under him weren't necessarily tied to agriculture or the business of the family. And so the family needed to find something for them to do. Now, there were no schools in those days, so schooling was done in the form of discipleship. And what that meant was generally that either one family or a few families together in the village paid for some guy to come and teach their sons. And now this was an expensive thing. You had to pay your son's tuition for this guy. So it might mean that he stayed in your family or he came to visit. But either way, there was certainly an expense to be paid. So when Jesus came and called his disciples off the boats and so on, they got straight away that this was a free gig, that they didn't have to pay for their discipling. And so it was really an amazing opportunity for them to be called by a rabbi and said, look, you guys come here, you can be my disciples. So at once it seems quite an easy road to have taken. Yeah, they got up and they left the boats, but hey, who wants to work all day when you can go and learn, get an education? And for the father, who could never have afforded normally to have paid for the teaching of his sons, it was a great opportunity too. So off they went. But unlike the other landowners, when the teacher went, the kids stayed in their room and slept there. The kids just went to school either in their own house or in the house next door, something like that. With Jesus, it truly was an extreme discipleship. He said, I've got nowhere to sleep. I don't stay in the one place. Now, leave everything and follow me. And that's the key. At least, I believe that's the reason why being a disciple of Jesus always has been extreme. That doesn't necessarily mean that we need to sell our houses and just go wherever we think Jesus might be, because Jesus is in our houses. On the other hand, it might mean that. I'm not saying it doesn't. But it doesn't in the same way. What it means to me is when you become a disciple of Jesus, you leave your life as you know it. Meaning you leave behind the life as it was and you take on a new life. And I think that hasn't changed. For the first disciples, that was clearly what happened with them. They left behind a life of whatever the jobs were that they're doing, whether it's fishing or tax collecting, etc., to follow him. A complete, total life change. And I really believe that this is what's required. This is what Jesus calls for. Only in a different way. It doesn't necessarily mean leaving behind your trade or your physical location. It means taking up a new body, becoming the new person, the new man. And that's surely very extreme. That's a lifetime of following, of changing, of growing, of learning. And that's what we're calling you to. That's what this website is designed to walk you through. As we share our experiences of how we've changed, of what we've having to give up, we hope that will encourage you and inspire you to do the same. I look forward to I look forward to having Maybe how do I say this? I look forward to being allowed to speak into your lives. That's what I mean to say. God bless.